Hello guys, hello everybody. Today in this video we will discuss certain aspect with respect to communication skills in a QC inspector, as I had promised in the earlier video that it will be another video for duties and you know duties and responsibilities of welding inspector, because mostly what they will teach you in the Cswip course is 3.1 course is with respect to a lot of things which are general in nature, but here we will discuss those topics which have not been touched upon by them. And it's a very big topic actually, this how a QC should conduct in a company. When he joins an organization, he may be one inspector, maybe he may be in a group of 4 or 5 inspectors. There are groups of 17 20 inspectors and plus. So in such a group, how he should conduct himself, what he should be, his daily routine, how he should be, that if you hear this video, you will get a very good fair idea about how to go about it. So actually I take a lot of interview, for example, for new QC inspectors, for freshers and for non-freshers, for experienced QCs. And this video is a sum total of my understanding of the situation, how what I have been going through last or 10 odd years when I am doing interviews with the QCs. So I can see that QC will do BE engineering in mechanical or field, and then try to look for a job, and then he understands that inspection is a job where he can find a career. So he applies and he understands that okay, it's not enough to have a BE. So you can imagine that 6 years after 10th, 6 years of that study is not enough, but he understands that there is a course called Cswip 3.1 or AWS which has to be done, and only then we will get a good career in this field. So, and that course is roughly 6-7 days course, and all his all his 6 year is on one side, his BE engineering degree is on one side, and this course is on one side. And then when he does that course, he gets a job, and then he gets a very good salary. So you can understand that our industry, the way it is functioning, and I don't understand why all this 6-day course is not covered in BE engineering itself. Why not? And it's very easy to cover that. Just make a module, make a 1 month within that 4 year, and then completely cover everything there. Maybe parts of it is covered, but then as a module, when you learn something, you remember that for your rest of your life, and these kind of concepts are very important. So a QC inspector must have basic knowledge of Cswip 3.1 contents, the course. You should go through it and try to every 6 months, every year he should revisit the course material and study it again, because we have seen that over the period of time you tend to forget many of the things which you should remember, you usually should remember. So a QC inspector who wants to work in this field must have very good English, because I have seen many of the people coming from even South India, where the English is supposed to be very strong as a second language. I can see people struggling. They are not good with grammar, especially. So they will speak in broken English and broken language, and that sentence formation is just not correct. For the people who really understand English well, for them, if you make a broken sentence, it's just not understanding, because we need to understand what exactly happened on site. And when a person describes, he's unable to tell this in a very great detail, and he may be a shy nature, he's not understanding, he's thinking English is no problem, I will manage things in Hindi or Tamil or Malayalam on site. But that doesn't happen, because when we are talking about Middle East and other countries where there are people you can speak, you can get away with this problem. But I have seen English, being very good English, can also take you further levels in your career, because you don't want to be QC inspector forever. You want to become QC supervisor, you want to become a manager. That language then becomes very, very important. So being a QC inspector, during your engineering itself, you must do a lot of good English study. You must go through the newspapers, read articles, go away from the newspaper, read other articles, try to speak in English, speak to yourself, speak to your friends, make it a habit rather than just a usage. Because when we see a QC inspector, not only speaking English is important for day to day, but when you discuss something with your friend, then you talk about culture, you talk about movies, you talk about sports. Obviously, when you discuss things in English, things become more and more and more. The personal develops, and the personality develops with that. So, a very good spoken English, a very good grammatical English, and writing English as well is very, very important for this job. Don't take it as a second to anything. And this thing kind of thing QC doesn't learn in Cswip and thinks that okay, but when you come to the site, and we have seen that how it is important for a person to be a good communicator, because many times we would like you QC inspector to raise a non-conformity, close a non-conformity, exactly describe what happened in the site. So all these things will help the manager and the supervisor understand what exactly, and then QC inspectors, it becomes the day-to-day routine. And you just imagine if a person is not comfortable with English or some language like this, what will be his condition? So good work English, and then I will also say honesty in your job is utmost important in this job. As already spoken in my earlier lecture about honesty in this particular field. Then ethical, behaving ethically. We always tell the truth, because in our situation we always want to know the truth and also the truth. And if you, for silly reasons, if one gives untruthful statement, and if he bunks the office and say something which is not truth, then obviously you will lose the trust with the manager and the supervisor. So obviously the truth, ethical is very, very important in this field. Then personal hygiene, I will also rate this as very, very highly recommended, that you will have a very good personal hygiene. Growing beard is okay, but keeping it trim, keeping it clean, keeping your hairs in a very good condition, and hygiene. You have to take, I don't have to tell you in this channel that it's ideal that you take bath twice a day, because our field mostly we are spending time in the site, and we are always in hot and humid condition. We are working in our environment, and it's very important for hygiene. Then good food habits, you must eat on time. All these are very important matters related to a functioning of an inspector, but unfortunately these kind of things are not covered in the CSWIP, and that's the reason why people like us, which we have seen in the industry over the period of time, would like to educate our incoming QC, even the people who are already working with us or not working somewhere else. These are the important traits. Then after personal hygiene, if I will give something very important, is this physique. So you must, I don't say that go to gym, but you can do simple exercises at home, 30-minute. You have a lot of YouTube videos on those aerobic type exercises which one can do, and stay fit, because in our job we have to climb the monkey ladder and go very high. We have to go to the double bottom tank sometimes. We have to go to confined spaces. There the situation is not so ideal. Then after that, when you go, then you do inspection, then you observe, and then you come back. So all this, it's a very challenging physically. And if you don't do this routinely, then when you become 35, 40, you just can see that the age catches up. And then once you become a supervisor in the age of 40, and you think that okay, I will not go to the site and see, and then I'll be remaining in office. That is not an ideal condition. One has to be also in the office, and also they has to go on site, routinely check on his inspectors, what kind of job he is, talk to the client. All this, site management and all, everything is coming to the play. So be punctual. Very important to be punctual. In Middle East, people are not expecting you to stay in the office till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock, like that, because here it is paid by hours. So if you are finished at 5 o'clock, you really go home. So after you go home, have to look after yourself, and be punctual. Always keep your timing intact. So inspectors usually are working in groups. We will have a structural inspection, piping inspection. Usually there are more than one inspector. So be calm, be polite, be respectful of each other, and never discuss politics in work, because that divides people. So avoid topics like religion, politics, and other topics which are divisible in nature, but you can discuss. There are so many things technically to discuss, so why to bring this? And one of the most important thing I think for the QC inspector is being inquisitive. Always questioning, why is this like this, why it's written here like this WPS it is written this way, why it is written P1 only, why it is written what kind of material group, why it is F number is like that, where it is written, if it is written here it must be written somewhere in the code. So this kind of inquisitiveness, in for example way back in 2002, when I was an inspector, a new inspector, and we used to, I came from NDT background, so obviously for me things were actually new. So this inquisitiveness brought sea change in my outlook. And then I used to ask fellow QCs, supervisors, never be shy to ask. Always ask, why is this like this, and how things can be better, or what improvements I can bring if this is the way they are doing it, how other companies are doing it. So observation is very important. So I will rate observational skill as very high in this profession. So if you have a good observation skill, observe the observe the welder, observe the fabricator, observe how he is grinding, observe how he is welding, observe his surrounding, and have some good memory, because when you observe something closely, you will understand what mistake he is making, and then you can get in touch with a welder or a fabricator and then educate him. No, this is not the way I have seen in another company that they are doing it so efficiently, so you have to do it like that. So this interaction is very important. So be polite, calm, always face situation without panic, and also this habit of yours will bring the calmness in the site. In site also you will behave like that. So with the welders, fabricators, foreman, supervisor, obviously you will they will like the politeness and calmness. And this is very important for any QC. If you are already tensed, if you are already hyperactive, reactive, so they don't generally, this guy doesn't stay in the profession for long. So observation skill, memory, very sharp memory, what you observed on site, maintaining a diary, absolutely very, very important for a QC inspector to always maintain a diary, write what an inspection he did, what he observed on site, just a small entry. These days you can do it also on the mobile, you have digital, so you can also write notes in your mobile, and that way it is easily retrievable, and also you can use it for your reference and cross referencing. So these are the skills which I spoke today, very important for any inspector. Then I always encourage my QC inspectors to speak with welders and fabricators routinely. Just go chit chat, talk to them how they are, live their living condition, if there is any issue they are facing, about work, where they worked before, how was that company, are we doing anything better, or we can do even better than that. So these are the things which a QC inspector wants to actually speak and find out from a welder, fabricator, foreman, anybody you see on site, because for an inspector or us engineers, we are mostly on the site, mostly we are working in a company, so almost 50% of our time we are spending in our company, factory, shop or site. So these people around us are very, very important, and we need to maintain a rapport with them, same rapport as you develop with your friends. And over the period of time you can see that This will help immensely for any QC inspector. And then when you communicate with your immediate senior, it's always good to communicate in writing by an email, or what thing you want to communicate, rather than being verbal always. So this is also one of the important things. And for a QC inspector, I have seen that closing day-to-day RFI is request for inspection. Each day he will go out for an inspection which has been predetermined the day before, and he will do the inspection with the client, or he will do it with himself. So that RFI, what he will observe today, need to be closed today itself, or maximum one day. Because what happens when you don't close an RFI, keep it pending, okay, I will do it, then the things mount up. The more inspection adds up, and then you can see within few days you've got 20 RFIs not closed. The result of this, you can see that the inspected material will lie in the workshop rather than moving forward. Actually, the material is supposed to move forward from there to NDT to final inspection, from there to painting, and from the painting it should come to the site for erection. So all this activity gets clogged up, and it becomes a very mess, and then somebody has to really keep shouting and screaming always in the office to resurrect this situation in a positive manner. The thing is, this inspector should not bring this to such a pass. So we've seen that painting inspectors, structural inspector, piping inspectors, we will run into hundreds of RFIs in a week. And if there is clogging up, you can imagine the stress and the pressure which production and project mount on QC, that because of these things are stagnant and not proceeding further. Now, all this even is tied up to the company billing, invoicing. Though no progress, no productivity doesn't mean that the invoicing is less, and obviously it will affect the company prospects. So this is all in the QC inspector's hand. So QC inspector is a very, very, very important cog in this entire machinery, and he moves the entire machinery, moves along with him. So these are the things that they have to do in order to. So you see this video repeatedly, and try to understand. If you have any comments, obviously I will reply to the comments individually. Do put in your comments. Also, I will have one good advice to inspector. For an inspector, don't stay in a company more than 3 years, 3 to 5 years. 5 years is a top to top. What you will do if you change in QC, you will change a company every 3 years. He will see more and he will learn more, and then with that, chances of him becoming QC engineer are quite bright, because he already within span of 6 to 7 years he has been in 3 companies and he has observed a lot. Also, changing company a lot is not good. Max to max, I will say you have to stay in a company for 2 to 3 years for to understand the company, understand the job basics, and understand everything around that product that they are fabricating in that company. So all in all, this is a very important a lecture which I doubt any QC Cswip is covering. So I think I will add to this more such topic, so that those topics are covered which normally a Cswip course does cover, and which are absolutely important in any company. For example, I am the manager in a company, and I had a quality department with such a big QC inspectors. I expect these kind of qualities in a QC inspector. Obviously, all the managers in other companies must be expecting the same kind of traits in a QC inspector. So these are the very important things. You go through it again and again, and you will find that these things, when you relate this in your life, you will see that yes, that manager was telling the truth. Okay guys, with this I think I will to close this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you have watched till the end, my gratitude to you. Thank you very much, and hope to see you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.